This is Elton Kane for Finextra, and I'm at the FinTechStage Inclusion Forum event in Jakarta. I'm here speaking with Sanjay Jain of iSPIRIT, a key architect of Aadhaar and the India Stack. Sanjay, there's been a lot of talk in the banking industry about open APIs, and there's been some progress made, but the open API approach taken by the India government since 2012 in developing the Aadhaar for digital identification is probably the most successful open API approach in the world and the largest scale. What do you think other countries and other industries and the financial sector can learn from this open API approach?
So I think the key element that worked for India was interoperability. The banking system in India is entirely interoperable. There's a single switch, and we are able to get a new interface in there, the UPI, that allows for the mobile phone to be used as a convenient payment form. And the banks adopted it, and since then it has started to move very rapidly. We launched to the public the first apps in, I would say, late August last year, and it's been so about 6 months. In these last 3 months alone, we have seen about 10 million transactions, which is an interesting growth, and we're hoping that very soon we'll start to challenge the card volumes in the country.
The payments part of the India Stack is the first to really roll out and gain traction among users of the API. It's obviously going to increase services and convenience for those already in the financial system, but also it's going to help improve financial inclusion in India. What do you see as the key milestones for growth here?
So being an open API and being something that allows innovation on top of it, we believe that that will allow companies to innovate and bring in new solutions for different segments of the market. But the other element of it is low cost. And we see that there's been a big push towards banking across the entire country to make sure that everybody has a bank account. And since mobile phones are also very common, this allows for access to their bank accounts to these people and makes payments very easy to do. We believe that low costs are an important element of financial inclusion because it allows a company to service the market profitably. And we are seeing that happen. So in fact, recently we launched Bheem as a payments interface, and that was launched on USSD as well. And that saw almost 100x growth in USSD-based payments in the country. The numbers are still small, so it was off a small base, but we do expect to see that grow and really take off. The other aspect about open APIs is that it brings in a competition that starts to keep the costs low, and people start to look at where they can expand markets. And financial inclusion, I think, would be one of those places where people will want to go after the large volumes out there.
There are other parts of the India Stack beyond payments covering things like KYC, electronic signatures and so on. Where do you see growth in other parts of the India Stack going, and where do you really want to see adoption and usage of the API increase?
So in terms of the India Stack, we have the identity layer, which, as you mentioned, has already covered 95% of the country. Then we have the paperless layer. So Aadhaar has an API that allows for a ID document to be sent to the service provider directly without paper being used in between. And that has started to move very nicely. In the last few months, we have seen that grow multifold, particularly after the Telecom Authority published a mechanism to use it for SIM issuance. Then we have launched the digital locker recently. So the digital locker is this ecosystem play where you can have a digital locker that stores documents issued by anybody and then have them accessed by somebody else through user consent. So, and it's an ecosystem approach. So, for instance, my university has a digital locker provider, and they put my degree in the locker. I have a locker provider which provides me a UI to manage it, and my employer uses his locker interface to go request for my degree certificate, and I can approve it and it can be sent to him. This interoperable locker system has just been announced, and while one version was made up and running, the federated model will come alive within this year. Digital Locker Authority has been created, and they are now looking for players to participate. So this completes sort of the paperless layer, because now I can exchange documents with consent. And the cashless layer, of course, was the unified payment interface and the other payment systems before it. And then the last piece is about how consent will enable all of this data sharing to happen with the user at the center of it. And I think all of these layers have seen tremendous growth over the past few years. Particularly Aadhaar and eKYC have seen the most, but even these other layers, there's almost 5 million users of the digital locker. There's 1 billion documents in it already. All big numbers, but and this is just starting to grow. So I'm very excited to see this. I think the number of use cases that are growing are also quite interesting. In the financial sector, of course, banking, payments, but even stock market investing, mutual funds, they're all coming onto the platform to exchange KYC documents, to enable customer onboarding at a very low cost, and for the payments piece as well. So very excited to see the growth.
Sanjay, thanks very much for your time. We look forward to hearing more about Aadhaar in the India Stack later this year.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ed.